What are we talking about today, Sam?
What are we talking about?
What did we do last night?
What did we do last night? Am I just repeating everything you're saying? Sounds like I am.
Makes you seem informed.
Yes. What did we do last night, ladies and gentlemen? That is the question. We went and saw a wonderful movie. It's called Avengers Infinity Wars. Now, we're big fans of all sorts of different Marvel movies, DC movies, superhero movies in general. So we thought we can't not go see it and talk about it on Lamon.
So here we are. We're here to offer our thoughts.
Yes.
Spoiler free.
Spoiler kind of free. I reckon Alec will probably say some silly things like, you know, the butler dies or something, or, you know, the Wookiee dies, actually. We probably should tell you that up front. The Wookiee dies.
Yeah, make sure we listen to Sam on this one.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. How do we set it up?
How do we set it up, he says. Guys, but this is live. We're going to show you how we set it up. Okay? Go.
Scene 1, Apple, take 1.
Alright, so we're going to talk about the movie.
Yeah.
Sam, what did you think?
Oh, that's a great setup. Alright, well,
So
I feel engaged now. I feel ready to talk about the movie.
You ready for it?
You got a gift, my friend.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I was surprised because, look, I feel a bit jaded now from all these superhero movies. My God, there's like 400 of them. I personally thought I was pleasantly surprised. You know, it was everything that you would expect from an Avengers movie. Expect big action, some galactic, you know, invader like it always is now. It's some alien thing that, like, wants to come in and, you know, Thanos, of course, everyone probably knows Thanos. He's some galactic?
He's elastic.
He's elastic.
He stretches. He's
galact-
basically Mr. Fantastic now.
He's galactic, he's elastic, he's kind of everything all together. No, you know, everyone would know that he's some galactic emperor thing, that he's kind of going into all these different worlds and just destroying them, right? So that's not a spoiler either, because, like, it's just, that's what Avenger movies are always made of. That's always the villain.
The general storyline for the film is that Thanos has come to essentially round up all of the Infinity Stones to get ultimate cosmic power.
Yeah.
It's the standard sort of Marvel stuff, you know. I too, pardon me, like Sam, am getting a bit tired of Marvel movies. They are quite formulaic. I don't really sort of engage with, like, action scenes like I used to when I was younger. They did it really well here.
Alec's more now, you know, he's more deeper. Like, he wants to, like, really see the action within the dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think with what happens with these movies is that generally they fall along the same formulaic.
I agree. Yeah,
formulaic sort of plot line. They're particularly with the Avengers films. I really liked the first. I didn't like Ultron. I love this one. I feel like with the Avengers films, they sometimes they don't really quite manage to give everyone enough screen time. They spend so much time juggling all these separate story arcs that it just feels like a bit of a muddle.
I agree with that. That's the problem I had with last night's film. So look, let me just quickly summarize what I thought. I thought it was a good movie. I thought the action was fantastic. I thought the story was a good, you know, superhero story. But the problem here was there's so many people they're trying to cram into one movie. That you're like, whoa, what's going on? It felt like sometimes, you know, Game of Thrones, right?
I was going to say Game of Thrones.
There were some moments in Game of Thrones where, you know, throughout the story, there's so much shit going on. You're like, fuck, okay, what's going on with this again? Or like, fuck, you know, they only had that person on screen for like 2 minutes because they had to cut somewhere else.
Yeah.
So expect that when you're sitting down and watching this movie, you are going to like see like 400 stories kind of all unfolding at different times. And you're right, like, it's hard to put people on screen long enough to create depth within those characters and depth within that dialogue that really makes it meaningful.
I generally agree, but I think they did a good job in this instance compared to sort of prior entries.
I'm not saying it wasn't done to the best of its ability. I'm just saying, regardless of how good you do it, you still have that problem of, like, so many stories on one screen, you know?
Yeah.
And which brings us really to, like, what we thought of the villain, because that's really what ties the movie all together in terms of why they're all fighting together and why they're trying to save the world again. So I was pleasantly surprised. I thought that, you know, they delivered a level of depth that was needed. I think, you know, in this day and age of Marvel movies or superhero movies, they need some depth to these villains. They can't just be like, ooh, I want to be evil. Like, you need more than that.
For me, the big reason I didn't like the Ultron, they juggle the storylines a bit too much, but Ultron sucked as a villain. I didn't find it particularly interesting at all. The opposite is true for Thanos. I think Thanos is a really compelling villain.
I agree.
He is voiced very well because he's all CGI. There's a bit of heart within him. It's not necessarily immediately apparent, but slowly it does sort of reveal itself to the audience.
And it's kind of interesting because in one bit of it, his logic is completely flawed, and it's like really, it is kind of, he's a madman. And on the other hand, you do see that he has this weird logic that he's deeply connected to this kind of cause that he wants to fight for. And he's also deeply connected to one of the characters in the movie. Spoiler, I won't tell you who it is, but there's definitely an emotional kind of tie there that really brings Thanos down to like a human level that we can all kind of,
empathize with.
Yeah, and understand.
Or understand. Yeah, well, look, that's what I thought. So I think with these superhero movies, the villains are very, very often lack any kind of personality. They have almost no allure to them. Thanos, not the case. Really, really interesting.
Yep.
Super, super well delivered by Josh Brolin in all the scenes that he's in.
100%.
And yeah,
and he's definitely quite thick too. He's a bit of a thick boy.
He's a thick
one
boy.
thick boy, like a muscly thick boy though.
Yeah,
but it was
like me.
Yeah, of course. Guys, that's pretty much it really. So look, we want to give you a rough understanding of what to expect. I think most people will enjoy this movie. Just be prepared to be hit with like a lot of different stories. I think you're going to like the villain. I think you're going to like, of course, seeing all the Avengers all together. The actual action is like top notch. The CGI, of course, is amazing, and I think it's a good addition to the Marvel universe. 100%.
Really recommend you check it out.
Check it out, guys. And this is not sponsored, of course, but this is brought to you by Infinity Wars.
Thanks, Stan.